long after the concert lights had dimmed and most fans had already gone home. Someone sent me a blurry photo and a single line of text. "This isn't over yet." At first it looked like nothing. A quiet side entrance, a dark car, no banners, no flashing cameras, no agency staff making announcements. And yet, within minutes, that image began spreading faster than any official press release ever could. Because what people realised almost instinctively was that this night was never meant to be seen. A concert had ended, but another story was only just beginning. There was no agency statement, no scheduled appearance, no public reason for two familiar figures to leave the same place, in the same window of time, under the same silence. And silence in this industry is rarely empty. It is usually full of meaning. As viewers began replaying clips, checking timestamps, and comparing accounts, one question refused to fade away. If everything was ordinary, why did it feel so carefully hidden? And if nothing was happening, why did it take until nearly 2 a.m. for the venue to finally let go of its last secret? The concert itself had been everything fans hoped for and more. The venue was full, the atmosphere warm, emotional, almost intimate despite the size of the crowd. From the opening number to the final encore, the focus remained firmly on Tan Songyun and the milestone this night represented in her career. It was not just a performance, but a statement of growth, confidence, and connection with her audience. Tickets had sold out quickly, and many fans had travelled long distances simply to be there. By the time the final song ended, applause lingered in the air and no one seemed in a hurry to leave. On stage, she stayed longer than planned, speaking softly to fans, thanking them, smiling in a way that felt personal rather than rehearsed. Nothing about that part of the evening felt unusual. What came after did. Backstage, the mood shifted. According to multiple accounts shared later by attendees with special access, the usual rhythm of post-event movement did not apply. People noticed that areas normally cleared quickly remained active. Staff members waited. Lights stayed on. Security vehicles did not depart. Some fans described a feeling that time itself had slowed, as if the night was being deliberately stretched. Tan Songyun appeared briefly during a meet and greet, but those who were close enough noticed small details that felt out of character. She checked her phone repeatedly. Her attention drifted. She was polite, warm, and professional, yet not fully present. At the time, it was easy to dismiss this as exhaustion. Only later did these moments begin to carry more weight. Outside the venue, a small group of fans and photographers remained. They were not expecting anything dramatic. Years of experience had taught them that most nights end quietly, with nothing more than a few routine exits. But this night refused to follow routine. After midnight, when the building should have gone dark, certain sections remained illuminated. Someone who had worked in event security for years commented later that this pattern usually meant one thing. Someone important was still inside, waiting for the right moment to leave without drawing attention. At around 1:45 in the morning, a familiar vehicle approached a side entrance typically reserved for staff and equipment. The area was calm, controlled, almost deliberately ordinary. Tan Songyun emerged first, dressed simply, face partially covered, moving quickly but not carelessly. As she reached the car, she paused. Just for a second. She looked back towards the door she had come through, then stepped inside. 8 minutes passed. In the world of celebrity timelines, 8 minutes can feel insignificant. On this night, it felt precise. At 1:53, the same door opened again. Shu Kai stepped out, dressed in the same low-profile style, accompanied by minimal security. There was no attempt to distract onlookers, no crowd control, no noise. Just a quiet departure into a waiting vehicle parked slightly away from the light. For those watching, the moment landed with a strange clarity. This was not an accident. It was coordination. And what made it impossible to ignore was not just that they left from the same place, but that there had been no public reason for him to be there at all. He was not announced as a guest. His name did not appear on any official list. There was no agency confirmation, no promotional link to the event. Yet multiple sources later suggested that he had been inside the venue long before the concert began. Some spoke of a private entrance. Others mentioned a VIP area removed from the seating chart, a space deliberately designed to be invisible. No photos emerged from inside, no clear footage surfaced, just fragments, silhouettes, and the growing certainty that presence did not always need proof to be felt. As fans began revisiting concert footage, new interpretations emerged. A pause during a ballad, a glance towards a darkened section of the hall. The emotional weight of certain songs suddenly felt heavier. Even small details, like the delivery of refreshments to a restricted area, took on symbolic meaning. None of these moments confirmed anything on their own. Together, they formed a pattern that invited questions rather than answers. What made this story spread was not shock in the traditional sense. There was no scandal, no raised voices, no confrontation. Instead, it offered something more powerful: restraint. In an industry where visibility is currency, the decision to remain unseen speaks volumes. The absence of agency involvement only amplified the effect. Without official framing, the narrative belonged entirely to those who observed it. Fans, witnesses, and long-time followers filled the space with careful speculation, not accusations. The tone remained thoughtful, almost protective, as if everyone involved understood the fragility of the moment. There was also history. Years of shared projects, interviews marked by ease rather than performance, a connection that had always felt grounded rather than exaggerated. Nothing in their past demanded this interpretation, but nothing contradicted it either. That balance is rare, and it is precisely what kept people watching, reading, and discussing. This was not about proving a relationship. It was about recognizing intention, about understanding that sometimes support is shown not through public gestures, but through quiet presence. By morning, the story had crossed borders. Different platforms carried different versions, but the core remained unchanged. No agency, no statement. One concert, 2 departures, 8 minutes apart, and a silence that felt deliberate rather than empty. In a landscape filled with noise, this restraint resonated deeply. It reminded viewers that not every meaningful moment needs to be announced, and not every connection needs to be explained. If you've stayed with this story until now, thank you for giving it your time and attention. At LVT-SHOWBIZ, we don't chase rumours for the sake of noise. We follow moments like this because they reveal the human side of an industry, often defined by performance. If you enjoy stories that are told carefully, respectfully, and with space for your own interpretation, consider subscribing to the channel. Your support allows us to continue exploring these quiet corners where meaning often hides in plain sight. Thank you for watching, for thinking, and for being part of this community. Stay curious, stay kind, and we'll see you again in the next story.